Once again, we do apologize. Got a bit of a, first we had an internet issue and now there's a bit of a power issue, unstable power here. So yeah, been a bit frustrating, but we are back here at the moment. Unfortunately, the clock will be at 0 for this heat now at the moment, but I can tell you that they are 3 minutes 24 seconds in. Plenty time here for these athletes to get these 3 rounds done. Remember, they have 3 rounds of 25 pull-ups, 25 shoulder to overhead, and a 200-meter run. That is part B of the workout, so there will be a split time. Then they got max calories on the bike. So athlete number 3 at the moment is already on the bike. She is working to get those max calories. As we can see here, athletes just turning those wraps around, and they're about to jump onto those shoulder to overhead.
4 minutes in.
And 4 minutes in here for these athletes.
Intermediate heat number 3, intermediate heat number 3, please all of you make your way to the start sheet. Intermediate heat 4, all of you should be making your way to the warm-up area. Intermediate heat 4, all of you to the warm-up area.
And on your bikes, working hard, big smile there on her face.
Can they maintain that?
Getting a nice little close-up of those pain faces here. We know how hard it is on the bike ergs. Ruan and I spoke earlier, and we spoke about how hard these bike ergs can actually be. I do think they are a little bit harder than those assault bikes. A lot of people might disagree, but with the assault bike you can play a little bit. With the bike ergs, it's just, if you slow down, you're dropping off badly. Whereas with the assault bike, you can do a nice big push, let the calories tick over a little bit. Not on the bike erg. So lots of hard work being done by these athletes at the moment. And you see a lot of them on the shoulders to overheads, a couple of them out on the run. This being intermediate heat number 2. Next up, we'll have intermediate heat 3.
Lane 10 and lane 4 fighting it out still for that second and third place.
And by the looks of it, we got lane 2, team plot box. Apologies there. And I think it was lane 6 that they mentioned now, hazardous trio. Those are your current leaders.
Lane 2 back from their run, starting their 3rd round.
And that's correct, lane number 2. Believe it or not, they're already on round number 3. That's team plot box in lane number 2. And you can see there, just to the left of your screen in the white shirts, they're on the bar there at the moment, but beautiful sinks there. Nice butterfly technique on those pull-ups, getting the chin nice and high above the bar, making sure that those reps are counted.
Lane 10 going out in 5th place. Can they hold or catch up back to their 3rd? Great synergy between.
You can see that damper set nice and low. It's sitting on 4 or 3. So taking it very, very easy there at the moment on that bike. Nothing wrong with that. Just don't want to get caught out. So yes, they are leading at the moment, but they don't want to be caught out with those calories later on.
Intermediate heat 3, you should all be at the start sheet. Intermediate heat 3, all at the start sheet. Intermediate heat 4, you should all be in the warm-up area. That's intermediate heat 4 in the warm-up area.
Watch those tie breaks.
And yeah, you can see all these athletes now wrapping up that third round. You can see a couple of these judges asking these athletes to make sure that their chin goes above the bar. A lot of them just making it. And remember, it's a pull-up, so that chin needs to go over the bar. They don't have to have their chest to bar. This is not chest to bar. This is a pull-up. The RX division, they'll have chest to bar where that chest needs to clearly touch the bar. So for these guys, just need to get that chin over the bar. And like mentioned before, those arms are going to take massive strain. As we look at some of these athletes still on the bikes there, all taking it very easy at the moment. No one's really pushing the pace. You can see out there in lane at number 9, that is PFC Pumas. They were sitting up nice and high on that bike, taking the load off the hamstrings there a little bit, the quads a little bit, apologies. And back to the pull-ups here, as we see two teams there battling it out at the moment on those pull-ups.
6 minutes remaining, 6 minutes remaining. Can you hold it out? Marshall, make sure those shoots are clear.
As we watch these athletes now, onto that shoulder to overhead. Has to sink at the top. Also, we need to look out for a lockout with these athletes, so a lot of the judges will call a no rep. Even if they sink at the top, there might not be a lockout, and that will be called a no rep. Team Plot Box. Team Plot Box, they are here getting that tie, getting that first place in the tiebreaker at the moment in this heat. They're now going to work max calories on the bike. See the shirts have come off there. They're not on your screen right now. We're just waiting for these athletes. Remember, one athlete can pause at the top of the pull-ups, as you just saw now. Pausing at the top, waiting for the other athlete to get up there. And that is 152 Buns and Guns in lane number 10 here. That's the CrossFit box, 152. They're at the... I could be mistaken on this. I think it's the Buzz Shopping Centre by Douglasdale.
Intermediate heat 4, you should all be in the warm-up area. Intermediate heat 3, you should be at the start chute. Intermediate 5, you guys can start thinking about that warm-up, start gathering your stuff and start getting ready. That's intermediate heat 5.
Lane 4 and lane 10 fighting it out.
Hope this man's got some sunblock on him.
Medics.
4 minutes remaining, athletes, 4 minutes.
Medics to lane 9. Lane 4. Maintaining that lead over lane 10.
And you can see the athletes here from lane number 4. That's old but not cold, heading out. That's CrossFit the Rabo.
Come on, spectators, let's get behind lane 9. Let's cheer on, well done. Come on, let's go, girl.
And it looks like one of the athletes actually came off the bar, but it looks like she's okay. She's now back onto the shoulders to overhead, so she's fine. Yeah, we see the athletes on the bike. They've completed their 3 rounds, so max calories here.
From lane 4 on those calories.
The athletes currently on your screen, or they were just on your screen, they still have athletes on the pull-up bar though. And here comes old but not cold. Lane 6 at the moment. They're sitting on a damper of 4 at the moment, taking it very, very easy. But remember, they still have athletes on the bar at the moment, so they don't need to push too hard just yet. But time is starting to run out with only 2 minutes remaining. With only 2 minutes remaining here.
Intermediate heat 3, you should all be at the start shoot, and then intermediate heat 4. You guys can start wrapping up those warm-ups. Intermediate heat 4. Start wrapping up your warm-ups, please.
You can see these athletes on that shoulder to overhead. It's going to be close for them to try and finish this. They still have 200 meters that they need to get through. And that time slowly but surely fading away for this team on your screen right now. I do believe that is lane number 5, and that's Salento, my gym. And 1 minute fast approaching here.
1 minute remaining. 1 minute remaining. Then those athletes close off on their final run.
1 minute here for these athletes.
And he's fighting it out all out to get that calorie lead again.
45 seconds.
Will there be a burn?
And it's starting to get heated here. These athletes need to try and get through these shoulders to overhead, and they still got a 200.
Lane 2, lane 4.
30 seconds. These athletes on the run are going to have to sprint this one out. Will they get that rep? 20 seconds remaining.
Lane 4 holding it. Lane 2, 4, and 10, max
10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That fight is absolute vomit material. Well done, athletes. Marshals close those shoots.
And brutal scenes here.
You may sign off and exit the arena.
Those bikes taking a massive toll on these athletes.
Athletes, I know you are.
And let's hope
We have to exit
that
the
those
arena.
legs recover for workout number 2 a little bit later on today. But great effort there from
All right, next heat, let's
Brock
go.
Box. I do believe they walked away with that one in terms of part B of this workout.
Athletes, you may exit the arena. Next heat, please prepare your bikes.
All right, next up, we are going to have our intermediates, heat number 2, heat number 3.
All right, athletes on your starting mats. Judges. Athletes on your starting mats. Judges on standby.
Athletes on the mats, please. Judges stand by.
We
We
need
see
a
those
judge.
boards.
Judge, please. Judge. Judge. Athletes stand by. Judges, raise your boards. Stand by. Marshals open shoots.
Alright, judges, stand by. Athletes, stand. Judges, please just make sure you check all the bikes, make sure they reset.
Judges, raise your boards. Raise your boards.
Judges, stand by. Athletes, stand by.
Jason. All right.
And 5, 4. Alright, and off we go. Intermediate heat number 3 underway here at Squad Games. powered by Biogen. Be your best. And then let's not forget, if you're looking for all the best equipment here in South Africa, make sure that you head on over to www.rebelstore.co.za, and everything you see here you can get at the Rebel Store. That's Rebel Elite Fitness, the proud equipment sponsors of Squad Games 2023.
Alright, here we have heat number 3 underway. This time we have a nice fresh clock working for you, so we can definitely see how these athletes start picking it up as that time winds down. If you've just tuned in, you are watching a stream brought to you by ItsHappening.Africa. Hit that notification button, subscribe, and then you'll see all our live events. We cover water polo, rugby, hockey, and of course, CrossFit. The workout here, they have 3 rounds to complete of 25 pull-ups, 25 shoulder to overhead, and then that trap, that 200-meter run. You're either going to have athletes sprint that run, or you're going to have athletes recover on that run. And so far, we've seen all the teams that have done well use that 200-meter as a recovery rather than a section where you're basically sprinting and trying to make time up. You should be making your time up on your pull-ups and your shoulder to overhead. Use that 200 as your recovery, and then you find those teams are the teams that are dominating on these 3 rounds. But so far, it looks like a very, very even Stevens race here at the moment as we watch lane 5, lane 1 and lane 3 all out now. That's Wildcard Warriors in 5, lane 3 ATG Norwood, lane 1 Rise and Grind. Those are your top 3 at the moment, but plenty time to come. And then let's not forget, we have the training times here. They are doing all post-production for us, so keep an eye out on that. We will be infiltrating our stream with some of their stuff over the weekend, a little bit of highlights here and there, some interviews and packages, and we'll play that in between the heats once that comes in from the training times. Great community here at Squad Games. You can see got amazing judges, amazing spectators. They're standing all around the arena at the moment, most of them. And then we've got a great athlete village. If you aren't doing anything this Saturday, make sure that you come on over here to the Diggers Rugby Club in Randburg and catch all the action in person. Yeah, at Squad Games. Later on, we might just also grab an interview with Tomo from Rebel, find out his thoughts, and then maybe also see what the plans are for next year.
ATG making their way in. Very competitive heaters.
And it looks like this is going to be a close finish for all these guys, as we have pretty much, we have 7 teams all battling it out for that number 1 spot. They're all on that second round. Remember, that sync is so difficult, especially if you don't know how to do the butterflies. Personally, for a pull-up, I think the kip would be a lot better, easier to synchronize as a team than the butterfly. Obviously, my personal preference. You might have a different preference to that. But on the kip, it's a little bit easier. You'll see on your screens lane 2, they got the kip at the moment, not the butterfly, and they're making easy work there of those synchronized pull-ups. And here's on your screen now some butterflies once again. Taking a breather there. Another thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you got some decent wraps. Find a lot of athletes, they'll buy the cheaper wraps And those wraps kind of like rub in your hand, and they still cause rips, and you don't want that on the day number 1 here at Squad Games, especially with, obviously, as you can see, some ropes on your screen there. There will be some rope climbs later on.
Clear the chutes. Marshals on standby. Clear those chutes. Judges, remember those tie breaks. Judges, tie breaks.
Intermediate heat number 4, you should all be heading to the start chute. Intermediate heat number 4, you guys should all be heading over to the start chute. And then intermediate 5, you should all be in the warm-up area. That's intermediate heat 5, in the warm-up area, please. So once again, intermediate heat 4, please make your way to the start chute. That's intermediate heat 4 to the start chute.
Lane 5 heading out, so we're stepping out. Marshals, clear those chutes. Around the bike, athletes. Rise and grind. Let's walk it off. Let's walk it off. Lane 1. Come on. You've got a great lead there. Let's go.
And it looks like lane 1 starting to struggle a little bit there. Did they go out too hot?
Judges, stand by for the 5 breaks.
Eight minutes remaining. 8 minutes.
These athletes now starting to dig deep here a little bit. As a lot of these guys, they pretty much all neck and neck on that 3rd round. They want to finish that 3rd round and get a nice big focus on this max calories. You can see a lot of these athletes, the fatigue starting to set in. See there, just to the left, that athlete there struggling with the shoulders to overhead. And big rest there, hands on the knees at the moment. Those shoulders feeling a little bit tired. And we got 7 minutes remaining for these athletes. A lot of them, as I mentioned, are in that 3rd round, that all-important round. This is where you see how tired these athletes are. And if that 3rd round is a lot slower, we know that these athletes are going to struggle when they jump back onto that bike a little bit later on. Yeah, you can see a lot of the athletes now heading onto that final run. Next up will be max calories on that bike for the rest of the period. Some heads up there, a little nod, feeling good there clearly.
Intermediate heat 4, make sure you are all at the start chute. Intermediate heat 4, make sure you are all at the start chute. And then intermediate heat 5, you should all be heading over to the warm-up area or in the warm-up area. That's our intermediate heat 4 at the start chute. This is your final call. And then heat 5 in the warm-up area. Six minutes remaining, athletes. 6 minutes.
And we've just hit that 6-minute mark now. These athletes taking a massive toll. This is definitely one of the faster heats I've seen so far, but it looks like it's taken a massive toll on these athletes at the moment. As you can see that they are slowing down big time on the bikes. My man here with a nice little hat on there. Not even sure what you call it. It's a farmer hat. I don't know. But I'd definitely be sporting one of those as well if I was out there. In the shade it's kind of cold, but on the actual arena floor it's surprisingly hot, and when that wind doesn't blow, these athletes absolutely bake. So hopefully these guys have got some sunblock on them as well. And all these athletes now finishing up that final run. ATG 8 too much. In What We Trust, triple threat, that's lane 8, 9 and 10. They all finishing up. And then out there in lane 1, 2, 3 and 4, we got Rise and Grind, Racks and Sacks, ATG Norwood, Buns and Guns. Lane 7 on your screen at the moment. 2 Mediterraneans with eczema. These names are brilliant. Lane 8 there, ATG 8 too much. On your screens there. And they're also busy wrapping it up.
4 minutes remaining.
Intermediate heat 4, make sure you are at the start sheet. Intermediate heat 4 at the start sheet. Intermediate heat 5 in the warm-ups. Final growth for our intermediate heat 4.
See some tired faces there on your screens. And this third round has taken a lot longer. To give you an example, they were almost finishing that round 1 and round 2 in about 2 minutes 30, where this one has almost been close on 3 to 4 minutes now for these athletes to complete round 3. So a lot longer.
Marshals clear those chutes.
A lot of these split times is going to play a big factor here. So remember, you have 2 scoring opportunities. You have scoring opportunity A, which is the bike, and then scoring opportunity B to finish all 3 of these rounds. And those rounds will include 25 pull-ups, 25 shoulder to overhead, and then a 200-meter run.
Lane 3, final push, guys, come on.
As we add 2 minutes 30 left, and
Anyone making it back in time for their final push on that bike.
a lot of time here for, it looks like lane number 1.
Lane 5.
Yeah, lane number 1, Rise and Grind, CrossFit Rag. They are currently your leaders here. They got the heat win in terms of scoring opportunity B. Now it's all up to those calories.
2 minutes remaining, 2 minutes remaining.
On your screen now, we got, or was on your screen, was lane number 4, and that was Buns and Guns, CrossFit PBM.
Final push, athletes, final push, come on.
Intermediate heat number 5. You guys can start wrapping up those warm-ups. Intermediate heat 5. Start wrapping up your warm-ups. You guys can slowly start making your way over to the start sheet. That's our intermediate heat 5. And then intermediate heat 4, you should already be at the start sheet. That's our intermediate heat 4. You guys are up next. 1 minute 20 seconds left, athletes. Time to put in that work. Let's go.
And now is the time. On your screens right now, Rise and Grind, lane number 1. They are leading at the moment. They definitely got the split time, the winning heat time here.
1 minute left, athletes. 1 minute.
And in this final minute now these athletes need to start working. They need to start tapping into that anaerobic system. They need to do a little bit of a shorter shift on the bikes. Swap over nice and quick. You don't want to be a hero on this bike. You want to work as a team. So you want to get these guys jumping, doing 20 seconds, 30 seconds, jump off, next person. You want to keep that cadence the whole time. I like to look at wattage. You want to keep that wattage in the 300, 400 phase to make sure that you get the calories needed.
Just under 30 seconds. Let's go, athletes. Let's go. Come on, let's get behind these athletes. Final 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Well done, athletes. All right, athletes, as you finished up on that bike, I know those legs are tired. Let's catch up on that time. Please, can we sign off and exit the arena? Next heat, you may welcome onto the arena. Next heat, let's go. Come on, spectators, let's welcome this next heat into the arena. Come on.
Right, next up, heat number 4, heat number 5. You guys can wrap up those warm-ups. Heat number 5, start wrapping up your warm-ups. Start slowly making your way over to the start sheet, guys. Heat number 5.
Athletes to your starting mats. Athletes to your starting mats. Judges on standby. Marshals open those chutes. Marshals open those chutes. Let's open those chutes, marshals. Athletes stand by.
Judges, stand by.
Judges, raise your boards. Judges, raise those boards.
Athletes stand by in 5, 4. And off they go. This is heat number 4 for the intermediate division. Next up, intermediate division 5. Please make sure you are wrapping up those warm-ups. Make your way over to the start sheet. Intermediates, heat number 5, over to the start sheet.
And back at it here for these athletes. They're all on those pull-ups. I do prefer that pull-up technique versus the butterfly, just because it's a little bit easier to get up there and sink for these athletes. Again, personal preference. Right, and so just my personal preference, I do prefer those kipping pull-ups versus the butterfly. A little bit easier to sink at the top for these athletes. And if you're not too sure, if you've just walked in or you've just tuned into the stream, these athletes will complete 3 rounds of 25 pull-ups, 25 shoulder to overhead, and then 200-meter run. Remember, that 200-meter run, that can make or break you. If you go out too hot on that 200, it might cost you dearly later on, as we saw in the previous heat. A lot of those athletes struggling on round number 3. Let's see what these intermediates do. So that is scoring opportunity part B, finishing those 3 rounds as fast as you can. And then scoring opportunity A is max calories on that bike erg. And that bike erg gets quite interesting. Depending on how high you set that damper and how hard you go in the beginning, that also might pay dividends at the end. That is scoring opportunity number 2 for these athletes. And of course, don't forget, huge shout out to Steel Monkey for bringing us all the judges shirts and athlete shirts, as well as the hoodies. And then we have some of the best sound I've heard in a while. 100% here, giving us the best sound that you can get at squad games. If you're looking to hire them out, make sure that you head on over to 100 and then percent.com. You can get yourself then hired out at your next event.
100% repping out on Cytec distribution. 100% mainly being a cycling and motocross brand, moving into the casual wear space. And I believe we have a bit of spot prizes and sunglasses as giveaways. So just remember to raise that yes, whether you're an athlete, spectator, no matter what. Let's just get some energy going.
So, of course, we've got a lot of the athletes here that are also judging. There's a couple of athletes that are judging as well. So also a huge thanks to those guys. You know who you are if you're a judge and an athlete. It takes a lot to do that over the weekend, so big thank you. And you can see a lot of these athletes coming back from their first round, heading into that second round.
One representative come through to the sound vehicle, Rebel Elite. Then you come see me at the sound vehicle.
11 minutes left in this workout. You can see on your screens a couple of athletes heading out on that run. I do believe that's their first round that they've just completed now. And they got a sync at the top there. Remember, an athlete can get to the top and then wait at the top if one athlete is struggling. And that is lane number 2, MHC, Vicious and Delicious on your screens at the moment. And then just next to them, you have 2 boykies and a blonde. They're getting a nice technique there for that kip. Clearly some supporters behind us here, cheering their team on there. Nice and loud.
Syncing it out beautifully.
These guys all on the bike. You can look at that cadence of the legs. Just taking it easy for now. Long time in this workout. Their main focus will be just to keep those calories ticking over. Shirt coming off there. Like I said, it's quite hot on the arena floor, but cold in the shade. He's struggling. Looks like they might have gone out a bit too hot. I do believe they were off the bar first, and now they're currently struggling to get back onto the pull-ups there. A lot of athletes slouched over there. No one really sitting up on those bikes. You can see there, that's a bit of a clever technique there. Just to the left of your screen there, you can see she's got her elbows on the actual handlebars. That also helps a lot to save those rear delts as well as those triceps. Matt Fraser always talks about making sure your triceps are nice and strong, so when you lock out at the top, those triceps can lock out nicely for you. And you'll find through his hard work pays off programming, he puts in a lot of tricep accessory work for athletes. And I do believe that it will pay dividends to a lot of those athletes who are on his programming with those lockouts. There have been a couple of no reps throughout, from beginners to masters to intermediates now, where there have been a lot of no reps because athletes haven't locked out. And once again, we're going to go on a run here. You can see that 200-meter run as they go through. Rebel there, of course, sponsoring all the equipment here. They're heading out just behind the vendors. We'll go back there shortly, just losing a bit of signal there. But they'll be back from their run shortly now, as they just coming around the vendor village now. And you can see a couple of athletes there on their pull-ups, sinking nicely there, lane 1. Lane 3 also, and here they come. They're coming back into the arena now. You can see they run right around the vendor village, through the athletes village, and they'll be coming back in for, I do believe this is their round, the 3rd round for these athletes. That was lane number 7. Lane number 7 is deadlifts and chill.
Intermediate heat number 5. Intermediate heat number 5. You guys can start wrapping up those warm-ups. you should all head on over to the start chute. That's intermediate heat number 5. And intermediate heat 6, you guys should be in the warm-up area. Intermediate heat number 6 in the warm-up area.
Alright, and then intermediate double underdogs. Double underdogs and bar pillar plus 2 jerks. Please make your way to the start chute. Bar pillar plus 2 jerks and double underdogs.
See our athletes here sitting up nice and high on that bike. You're saving the quads a little bit. I think that primary muscle group here is definitely the quads. You want those quads fairly fresh just before you head into those that final 2 minutes where you want your team to tap into that anaerobic system and have a little shorter shifts there on the bikes. Between 20 and 30 seconds, I think should suffice enough for athletes.
Intermediate heat 5, you should all be at the start chute. Intermediate heat 5, all at the start chute. And then intermediate 6, you guys should be at the warm-up area. That's our intermediate heat 6 at the warm-up area.
Left. 5 minutes left.
Lane number 3 here. Barbell banter squat. Not much banter happening there right now. He's in the pain cave, focused on his job. As we look at those shoulders overhead, they move out. I think this is also their third and final heat.
Josie representing on their way out.
That's 2 Boykies and a blonde, lane number 1. They are on their final.
Another CrossFit Josie representing in lane 4.
Tour de France face there.
4 minutes left, athletes, 4 minutes left.
These athletes now, 4 minutes left, yeah. And now this is where they want to start ramping it up slowly. They just don't want to stay in that anaerobic system. They don't want to tap too much into that, the aerobic system. They don't want to tap too much into that anaerobic system just yet. But the main thing that they don't want to do is stop. And I'm seeing a lot of athletes here stopping as we just catch a bit of the supporters here at Squad Games. Lane number 2, MHC, Vicious and Delicious. They're out on their final round now.
Intermediate heat number 5, you should all be at the start chute. Intermediate heat 6, you should all be warming up. That's our intermediate heat 6 in the warm-up area.
And here they are, all the supporters here at Squad Games. If you want to come check it out, make sure you head on over to Diggers Rugby Club and jump in and support all these athletes here. Great athletes through the beginners all the way through to RX.
Athletes are fighting it out on this bike.
You can see here, just to the left of your screen,
3 rounds, but can they
moving right now.
accumulated calories?
Drop that damper just a bit. And starting to pick up the cadence. It's good little technique there. And you can see all those athletes there. Nice and close to the bike so that they could make that quick changeover.
Just less than 2 minutes to go.
MHC on their way back now. You can see a couple of these athletes still in round 3 on those pull-ups.
using those hands to run it through on that bike. Keep go, boy.
Lane 6, just keeping it real. They're struggling on the bar at the moment with those pull-ups. And looks like lane 8, the three amigos, CrossFit PFL. Looks like they are all there now. They are going to now tick away at those calories. With just 50 seconds remaining, it's going to get heated now.
"40 seconds left. Seconds. That lactic acid is gonna kick in hard now. Let's start getting it out of that hole. Come on. 20 seconds.
Lane 2 fighting it out off that saddle.
10 seconds left. It's a sprint now. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, athletes, well done on that push. Lane 1 getting close out onto their run. Can they hold that lead? Lane 6 and lane 5 hunting them down.
All right,
Lane 2 heading out.
we are back here at Squad Games. We do apologize. Bit of tower issues now with our internet at the moment due to the load shedding, so our internet keeps dropping. We do apologize. We are doing our best here to try and keep you up to date with the coverage. We are in intermediate heat number 6 at the moment, and they are 2 minutes 30 seconds in to this workout. This is the final intermediate heat. So next up, we'll have that RX division. Remember, slight change in movements where they will do... dropping my chocolates here. Where they will do a chest to bar. So a little bit different, little bit of a different stimulus on the body versus the pull-ups. And with that chest to bar, you actually want to try get a butterfly movement. It's a little bit easier to sink, in my personal opinion, once again. But yeah, you have these athletes on the run. They've just come back in. They're on the bike, first round completed. Moving to that bar.
Boys from Samsung Fitness making their way in. Fitness in Porto representing.
On the floor in lane number 1, nothing but chalk. Lane number 2, 2 Wills and a Grace. Lane 3, Mary's Angels. Lane 4, Mommy Issues. Lane 5, MHC, 2 guys and a girl and a CrossFit WOD. Lane 6, MK Metalheads. Lane 7, Fran and 2 Heroes. Lane 8, MK Hustle, Muscle and Ryan. Lane 9, cause Mom said so. Lane 10, Samson Jets. Remember, we had Charles Frickie Burger say that if his team doesn't get on the podium this year, they're not welcome back to the box. So let's keep an eye on lane number 10. That's the Samson Fitness Center.
Lane 4, make sure of that lockout.
Athletes using the box here just to get up to the bar. Sinking nicely there at the top, making sure they don't get no rep. And they're moving over to that shoulder to overhead now.
Lane 1 being very strategic.
RX heat number 1. That's our RX heat number 1. You should all be in the warm-up area, getting yourselves nice and warm.
Our lane 1 lady calling out the shots here, holding the team together.
And nothing but chalk there. They're heading out on their run once again. And obviously one man stays behind. He's got to stay on that bike.
Judges, remember your tie breaks. Judges, remember your tie breaks.
The make or break here is whether you can carry on that bike. We saw in the previous heat a lot of athletes actually stopping on the bike and taking their time to get onto that bike. You don't actually realize how every calorie counts. We've seen a couple now when I went onto the leaderboard just to check. A couple of times teams are missing that top 10 spot by a calorie or two, and that's because of you don't realize how much time. If you take 10 seconds to get onto the bike, that's like 3 or 4 calories you're wasting there. So athletes need to try and make that transition a little bit faster. I do think that's becoming a big problem for a lot of these teams in this workout specifically. That transition time is not good. These athletes here with 8 minutes left, and plenty time. A lot of these athletes already done with their second round. They're in that third round now, and this is where it starts to bite. Those shoulders are taxed, those rear delts are taxed, those lats. And then they obviously got that run. We've spoken about it quite a lot. That 200-meter run, which I'm considering the trap in this workout. Some of them went out hot, and you're seeing that it's taking a toll on them. Not just in the cardio side of this, but also in their pull-ups and their shoulder to overhead.
All right, our RX division. You guys can start wrapping up those warm-ups. Heat number 1. Start wrapping up your warm-ups. You guys can start making your way over to the start chute. That's our RX division. Heat number 1. Make your way over to the start chute.
On your screens now, we have lane number 3, Mary's Angels. They're from Northcliffe CrossFit.
Lane 1 has maintained their lead.
Lane 4, Mommy Issues, MHC Functional Fitness. Nice little tempo they have there on those pull-ups. And athletes, yeah, you can see those shoulders really starting to hurt now. That third round has been the make or break round. We've seen a couple of teams lose their lead on that third round. But great, look at that, cycling the bar so nicely are these two on your screen at the moment. Very angry with that bar. Both of them just chuck it down to the floor there. And the man on the bike working there. It's lane 1, nothing but chalk. Plot box CrossFit. And there in lane 2, 2 walls and a Grace. She is not impressed that the camera's in her face right now. Lane number 3, Mary's Angels, Northcliffe CrossFit. Then lane number 4, Mommy's Issues. Got that classic CrossFit look there with the backwards cap as his teammates are on the shoulder to overhead.
4 minutes remaining. 5 minutes remaining. 5 minutes remaining.
A lot of athletes moving out onto that final run. But some athletes still on round number 2. As the sands of time start running out for these athletes. They've got 4.5 minutes left in this workout. MHC, 2 guys and a girl, and a CrossFit WOD. I believe that's one of the longest names in the history of squad games. Now, as we see these athletes on the screen, what we're looking at here is that cadence. Who's got the faster cadence? Who's ticking over nicely there? And I would definitely say there, lane number 8, that is MK, Hustle, Muscle, and Ryan. Four minutes left.
Absolutely dominated performance. Coming in to win that 3 rounds, but sitting in 6th place on those calories.
Nothing but chalk. Walking away with the split time here. They will take the win in this heat for part B of this workout. Three and a half minutes left for these athletes. 3.5 minutes. And on your screen here, just a little breather, little nod, and up they go. Remember, there has to be a sync at the top. It doesn't have to be synced off the shoulders, just at the top. So you'll see one athlete might pause at the top and wait for the other athlete to catch up, and then that is a good rep. Big bounce off the shoulders there just to get that weight up there. And she's struggling a little bit. You can see they're both on their hands and knees at the moment. Just trying to catch a breath here and finish up that round number 3.
Our RX guys, you guys can start making your way over. Heat number 1, make your way over to the start sheet. It's almost time, athletes, it's almost time to climb into that anaerobic system. 2 minutes left, let's start working, let's get going.
And these athletes now need to start working hard as that time is running out.
RX lead 1, make your way to the starting chute.
90 seconds.
Number 1 to the starting chute.
90 seconds left for these athletes.
And you can see there on your screen now, he's working hard, pulling that head down, using those quads, driving, making sure that he gets those calories. Dropping the tempo a little bit there. And a little changeover there, but very slow on that changeover. That's going to be costly. They've got to try and get off that bike a little bit quicker, get that transition quicker.
1 minute left, athletes. 1 minute. Let's start cheering these guys on. Let's get them to the finish line. Come on.
And this is where you will find the athletes who has the strongest mind. Because now it's all about how strong your mind is. Can you get through that pain? Everyone's feeling the same pain, but it's that person with the strongest mind that will get through this one.
30 seconds.
Final sprint from all these athletes. Final big push out. Lane 1, lane 4, lane 7, sprinting it
20
out.
seconds.
Can they keep it on that 5?
10 seconds.
Alright, he's on to your heat. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. After he slows those shoots. Fantastic push from this final heat over here. Come on, spectators, everybody, a big round of applause for these athletes as we close off the intermediate heat.
Done and dusted. Intermediates. Well done. And next up, we got the RX guys. RX heat number 1, make your way to the start chute. There's going to be a quick changeover, and then you guys will grace us with your presence.
Judges, come through to me in the center of the arena. Judges, come through to me in the center of the arena, waving at you. Judges, come through. Judges.
Next up, we're going to have those RX athletes grace us with their presence.
RX Bomb Squad and Proudly Pro Form, please make your way to the start chute.
In lane number 1, we will have CrossFit PBM. Lane 2, the Bandits. Lane 3, Tiger Valley IED. Lane 4, CFTV White Buffalo. Lane 5, Bomb Squad. Lane 6, Pure Fitness Porras. Lane 7, Squat Games. Lane 8, Proudly Proform. Lane number 9, Lion Pack.
Alright, so as we prepare the field for our RX athletes, we've been
see on your screen there, beautiful technique. On your screen right now, we got the Samson Fitness guys. beautiful work by our production team here. So huge shout out to ItsHappening.Africa. He was like, Jason, I got this idea. Can you do some logos for me? And then we kind of rolled on with that. Yeah. And here we are now. This is what, number 3, event number 3 now for you.
Yeah. Look, event number 3, but I think working with you, it's been about 8 years.
Yeah, it's been long now.
We've been together working about 8 years, and CrossFit and functional fitness has been a lot of what we've known. And I think, yeah, as Jason mentioned, Squad Games logo is his baby. So yeah, but I mean, yeah, talking about owner and founder of the event, yeah, I'm privileged and blessed that we've had a lot of people back the idea. It was a concept and now it's come to life. Number 3, and I'd prefer to call myself a co-owner. I mean, my brother Jason, he's also the man behind Squad Games, but he's actually, yeah, the man behind the laptop. I'm the guy that basically is the one that goes and hunts out and finds all the puzzle pieces, and what he does is he puts the pieces of the puzzle together. So yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously we spoke now just a little bit just before the camera went on there. We spoke.
Alright, athletes on your starting mats. Athletes on your starting mats. Athletes on your starting mats. Marshals at your chutes. Marshals on standby. Athletes stand by.
All athletes stand by. In 5, 4.
DJ volume.
And we're back here for the RX division. We have over 10 athletes here that competed at the semi-finals. So very, very competitive field here. You'll see a lot of teamwork and a lot of tactics here within these athletes. And remember, the weights are heavier. They're doing chest to bars. So a lot different to what you saw with the intermediates and the beginners earlier on today. So those weights for the RX division, they have 60 kgs for the men and 45 kgs for the ladies. So big difference there for these athletes. And of course the run will still remain the same. But this one's going to be a little bit of a cat and mouse. Athletes just checking to see where all the other teams are and making sure that they, well, he's clearly doesn't have any phase about anything right now, just having a jaw. But they're going to be watching closely to see where these teams are. A lot of these athletes very experienced.
Lane 1.
And Lions back from Lions Bay CrossFit. They are out first in lane number 9, completing that first round. Lane 2, the Bandits. Lane 1, CrossFit PBN. Some of these athletes still on that shoulder to overhead. No mean feat that. Some very talented athletes, very fit individuals here. Remember, you can do exactly what you just saw on your screen now. You can wait for your other athlete to get up to the top there. The sink is at the top, not from the shoulders, but at the top of the movement of the shoulder over to head.
Lane 9 making their way back into the arena.
Straggling there somewhat.
RX athletes heat number 2. Heat number 2 for RX teams. You guys can start wrapping up those warm-ups. That's our RX teams heat number 2. Start making your way over to the start chute. That's our RX heat number 2.
Lane 2 coming in second place.
And on your screens now, they are your current leaders. That is Lions back from Lions Bay CrossFit. Edouard and Alzon, the owners out there in PE. And of course they will work well as a team here. Remember, chest to bars, they got to get a clear connection of the chest to that bar. It's not just getting that chin over the bar, they need to touch with their chest. A little bit of a harder movement to sink, but with an effective butterfly technique, you should be able to clear 25 fairly quickly. For these caliber athletes, 25 chest bars isn't that crazy. However, when you take into consideration that each athlete has to do at least 2 rounds, sorry, 2 athletes must do at least 2 rounds, those athletes are going to take more of a taxing than the athletes that doesn't have to do that extra round. Lane 3 there, Tiger Valley IED, they are struggling a bit on the run there, and now they're currently walking, so clearly went out a bit too hot on that opening round, and you can see now the teams are going to catch up there. In lane number 7, that's Squat Gains from Pack Life. They will reel in the IED team from Tiger Valley. Lane number 2 looking strong there at the moment. And lane number 2 picking up the pace.
Lane 6 getting great support.
And there's lane number 6, Pure Fitness Porras. They are out now onto their run. As we catch up here with lane 8, that is Proudly Pro Form. They've been really struggling with the weight here, taxing those shoulders, so they're not getting the set that they want. They got to sink at the top. And back now, lane number 7, Squat Gains. Remember, they caught up to Tiger Valley IED. Lane 3 though, they back into it now. Lane 3 just pulled off a huge set there as they now move back into that first place position. Of course,
representing great support across the country.
we have the other Viking on your screen right now.
Let's make sure of those lockouts, athletes. 8 minutes in.
RX heat number 2, please make your way to the start shoot. RX heat 2, you should all be at the start shoot. And then our RX heat 3, you should be in the warm-up area. RX heat 3 in the warm-up area, please.
If you've just tuned in, welcome. You are currently watching a stream proudly brought to you by ItsHappening.Africa. Hit that subscribe button, comment in the live comments, and make sure that you hit those bell notifications so you know exactly when we are live. Throw Blast sporting those new tattoos. Recently got them. I believe she got for her birthday actually. And there's Edouard on your screen now. The man from Lions Bay.
It's 9 minutes in. 9 minutes in. CrossFit Protocol coming in to represent.
Lane 9, Lions Pack once again back onto those chest to bars.
Please clear those running shoots.
Taking a bit of time here, just making sure they're 100%. Don't want to get no rep. The last thing you want is to have to do an extra rep because of a no rep. Just like that there now. Alzan doing one extra rep, and that does pay dividends in the end. That extra rep is going to tire you out just that much more. And they add up. Over 3 rounds, you might be doing an extra 5 or 6 reps that you don't have to be doing. So these teams need to make sure that they get those sinks right. And here we go. Onto those shoulders to overhead. That's lane number 6, Pure Fitness Porters. They're looking really, really strong at the moment. Taking a breather here. Now, in these situations, you want to be communicating. Just making sure you know exactly how the other athlete, your teammate, is feeling. As we look at the cadence here of these athletes, still very slow, still plenty time left on the clock.
Lifting some heavy tonnage.
And 4 minutes left for these athletes, just 4 minutes.
4 minutes remaining.
RX athletes, heat number 2, make sure you are all at the start shoot. If you're not there, make your way to the start shoot, please. That's our RX division, heat number 2, make your way to the start shoot. And then RX heat number 3, all in the warm-up area.
Marshals, please clear those running shoots. Judges, please remember those tie breaks. Judges, please, the tie breaks.
As we watch these athletes here, making that weight, even though it's 60 kgs, making it look nice and easy there. Wind starting to pick up a little bit, Chad. Won't play too much of a factor with these athletes. However, that wind is cold. So these athletes might not realize it, but getting those muscles a little bit colder in this wind might also affect that bike a little bit later on.
Lane 2 heading out to close off their final round.
Heat number 2, you should all be at the start chute. Heat number 2 for our RX division should all be at the start chute. Heat 3, you should all be in the warm-up.
Great shots here of all the athletes. See all these athletes busy working hard on
athletes, final push.
final 2 minutes for these athletes here, as they're now going to start digging deep to try and get those calories. Just a couple of teams about to finish their round 3 here, and it looks like lane 7, that is squat gains, the first team to complete all 3 rounds. Not too far behind them. Lane at number 2, that's the Bandits.
90 seconds left, athletes, 90 seconds.
Lane 2, the only team that has now completed their third round onto their bike, sharing those final calories.
So I was mistaken, only lane 2 has completed their 3 rounds. The Bandits, most of these athletes, we're getting word from our cameraman on the floor that they're mostly all on damper 5. Interesting, they're keeping it a medium there, but literally I'm looking at from where I am and I can see the 3 athletes in front of me all on damper 5. Very interesting there. And as I say that, I look over and at Lions Bay, they are sitting at damper 10. They're starting to work nice and hard there.
40 seconds.
And it looks like Lions Bay also finished their 3 rounds.
Seconds, athletes, 20 seconds.
Spectators, please clear those
10 seconds.
final sprint, all out sprint from lane 2.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Brilliant performance from lane 2.
And what a brilliant performance, but it looks like lane 9 and lane 2 we're battling it out there for that number 1 spot. That's the Bandits as well as Lions Pack. And then in third, I'm not 100% sure, this is not confirmed. It is lane number 3, Tiger Valley IED. Looked like they might have taken third, but that is unofficial. We will have a look at those leaderboards later on.
Exit the arena. They're welcoming on next heat. Great performance from Ruan in lane 2 alongside his team.
Massive effort here by these RX division athletes. And heat number 2, we're going to welcome them to the floor next.
Right, athletes on your starting mats. Athletes to your starting mats. Judges, prepare please. Another extremely competitive field out here. Athletes to your starting mats.
All athletes to the starting mats, please. All athletes to the starting mats.
Marshals, open your running chutes. Marshals, open your running chutes. Athletes on standby.
Judges, stand by. Athletes, stand by. In.
Where's those off? Judges, where's those boards?
Right, let's do this again. Judges, all stand by. Athletes, stand by. In 5, 4. And off they go. RX Division Heat number 2.
Come on, spectators, let's give them a round of applause as they start their heat. Let's go.
Yo, check this out. Right, RX Division Heat number 3. You guys can start wrapping up those warm-ups. Start making your way over to the start sheet. That's the RX Heat number 3. Make your way over to the start sheet.
Lane 4 and 6 going head to head. Battling out with a 1 rep difference.
And we back here live as we see these athletes chest to bar here, and not pull-ups. So if you've just tuned in, this is RX Division Heat number 2 underway. We just saw Division 1, and these athletes need to try and get chest to bar. So in this situation, I think the butterflies would be a lot better to try sink for those chest to bars, but these athletes in that lane number 10, that is River Raiders, they are choosing to do the kipping option. They're about to start their shoulder to overhead.
In serious pain, don't forget we've got glacier ice bars and iron massage.
But let's not forget, we have Chaos Squad in lane number 6. Richard Smith, off they go.
First out on their run. Shortly followed by lane 4. Lane 3 and 7 hunting them down.
All right, so CrossFit Kyle Army, lane number 6, Chaos Squad. They are your current leaders. You got Dev Ramsden and Richard Smith in that team. That is a powerhouse team, so look out for them to possibly take this one. They're current leaders, taking it easy on the run by the looks of it. They're not pushing too hard on the run.
Lane 1, make sure they walk out.
And here they come now. They back in for round number 2. See them there in the whites on your screens at the moment. Dev Ramsden and Richard Smith look like they're going to go into that chest to bar.
Lane 4 coming back in strong.
Let's have a look. Let's see what they opt for. And it looks like they're going for the butterflies as well. Beautiful technique there by both of these athletes. Remember, both these athletes are more than capable of making semi-finals in that 2024 season next year. So keep an eye on them. But right now in this team competition, they are your current leaders. And I'd say they have about 4 or 5 reps on lane number 3. And that is get fit or die trying. Back with your leaders here. All right, now we're gonna have a look here. We're gonna see how many reps ahead they are.
A reminder that this is a 2 scoring opportunity workout. Time completed the 3 rounds as well as total calories accumulated.
So it looks like they're about 12 reps ahead of everyone else on the floor at the moment. So standing strong at the moment, your leaders, lane 6, Chaos Squad, doing an exceptional job, making sure that they maintain that lead. They are opening that lead even further right now as they're off your screens right now, but taking big sets off the shoulder to overhead.
Right, our RX heat number 3, you should all be at the start sheet. That is the RX heat number 3. Make sure you're all at the start sheet, please.
Alright, you guys are currently watching an It's Happening.Africa production. If you're looking for any streaming services, make sure to DM us and we'll get back to you as soon as we can. Anything from rugby, CrossFit, water polo, you name it, we do it. That is It's Happening.Africa. Hit that subscribe button and then make sure that you click on that bell notification so you know exactly when we are live. Covering this whole entire weekend. And on your screens right now, Get Fit or Die Trying, lane number 3. But our strong leaders here, they come. See them just on the left of your screen there. They've just come in, completing round number 2. They're in round 3 now. Lane 1 on your screen there, that is ADV Leisure Fit, CrossFit PBM. As we catch up with our leaders here in lane number 6. They're going to look to finish this up, and they'll be the first team with plenty time on the clock to try and rack up those calories. But remember, that is a second scoring opportunity. They've been taking it quite easy. I've been watching how they are approaching this bike, and their cadence is a lot slower than some of these other teams. So especially lane 9, I've been watching lane 9. That is Tiger Valley Dynamite. They've been putting in a little bit of a faster cadence with all 3 of their athletes on the bike. So just from what I've seen, I would assume that lane 9 are currently leading on those calories at the moment. But lane 6, CrossFit Kyalami, they will have a lot in the tank because they'll have plenty time to recover, and then in those last 2 minutes they'll be able to put down their hammer to try and tick over those calories as much as they can.
8 minutes into the workout.
7 minutes remaining. RX heat number 3, you should all be at the start sheet. I see a couple of those lovely faces. Bev, Meg, all looking all gangstified, ready to take this workout on.
This is a 2 scoring opportunity. How hard are they going to send it on this bike? Because whatever time the thing goes to their third round.
Richard giving us a nice little thumbs up there. Spoke to him a couple of months ago just to find out how he was doing, and he mentioned that he was struggling with a little bit of a few injuries, you know. He said he was going to take a lot of time off just to recover because he thought he was just pushing himself a little bit too far sometimes. So now in his older, wiser days, he's now looking after the body, and he says he'll definitely be coming back. So look out for Richard. And here they go, their final round. They are basically heading out to the run now. There they are on your screen, off they go. So currently they are running away with us, quite literally and figuratively. That is lane number 6, Chaos Squad, CrossFit Kyalami. Richard still on that bike. Still cadence, not too fast just yet. Just keeping that energy going. You'll probably find someone will jump onto the bike once they're done with the run.
Judges, remember those tie breaks. Judges, remember those tie breaks.
A lot of these athletes getting no rep once again for not getting a lockout. Remember, you can sink at the top, but if you're not deemed to have locked those elbows, that will be a no rep for you. So we've seen a couple of athletes being no rep here, and it's costing them big time. Looks like lane 1, ADV Leisure Fit, on their run now.
4 minutes, 30 seconds left. 4 minutes, 30 seconds left, athletes.
Plenty time here for these athletes. Remember, 2 scoring opportunities here. They got part A, which is the calories on the bike, and then part B is the 3 rounds and how fast you complete it. As we watch the change over here, Ramsden now jumping onto the bike. So I used to train with Dev. We used to box at the same club a couple of years ago, and man, that guy is fit. Even back then, before we were doing CrossFit, we used to race each other around the block a few times running, and he was always there with me. Very fit man, that. And he can box. Scary combination. See a lot of these athletes, their grip as well. It's a factor I actually haven't really spoken about here, but that grip playing a huge role. You see a couple of ladies actually dropping the bar because they just cannot hold on.
Always a massive achievement to any athlete stepping up to RX division. Around the bike.
See a lot of these athletes struggling to get the shoulder to overhead work done. Hard workout, yeah, for the opener at Squad Games. See the man on your screen right now, he's had enough. Just wants to get off that bike. Interesting, that seat very low there.
Two minutes, 30 seconds left, athletes. Let's get going.
You'll see now that all these athletes will start picking up the pace as the time starts running down for these athletes. Those shifts on the bike will be shorter as well. They'll probably whack out about 20 to 30 seconds each and start ticking over those calories as we approach that 2-minute mark.
2 minutes remaining, athletes. 2 minutes remaining.
Don't be afraid, drop us a comment on our live chat. You guys can shout out your favorite teams or favorite people. As we approach the end here.
Seconds, athletes, 90 seconds to go.
Now, some of these athletes now finishing those 3rd round. And this is where you're going to have to dig deep mentally. This is where you separate those A athletes from the B athletes.
1 minute to go, 1 minute to go as they pass out that final lap, as well as those calories. 1 minute. Will they make that run back home?
Couple of athletes jumping onto that run now. They only have 35 seconds to get back into the arena, so they're going to have to sprint right now. 30 seconds.
Come on, spectators, let's get behind our athletes with 20 seconds left. Let's get behind our athletes. 20 seconds.
RX heat number 3, welcome to the floor.
Alright, athletes, let's exit that arena so we can get our next heat on
Warren,
the floor.
Warren. We just need to check the handles on lane 8, the back, lane 8.
Alright, athletes, and exit this arena. Next heat, you can make your way to your starting chute. Marshals, you may open your running chutes. Marshals, you may open your running chutes.
But you can't do it like this, a double dare ya. You're once in the house and you look unfamiliar. Yeah, I've been the baddest, act like you're supposed. Girl, you smell like money, that's my cologne.
Alright, athletes on standby. Athletes on your mats. Judges, stand by. Judges.
Judges, athletes, stand by in 5, 4. And off we go, RX heat number 3 underway.
Hair done, nails done, technicalities. I got it all in order like my LMNOP. Diamonds on my neck, money stretched like latex. Left the boy on bed, I ain't got no time to text. But you can't do it like this, but you can't do it like this. Got no time to text, but you can't do it like this. But you can't do it like this, but you can't do it like this. Got no time to text, but you can't do it like this.
Lane 8, lane 7 and lane 1. First to their shoulders overheads. Lane 8 with a 6-rep lead.
Alright, we back here live at Squad Games 2023. We got the RX division heat number 3 underway, and some big names here once again. We got Megan Fall on the floor from CrossFit Kenton. Remember, had an exceptional semi-finals. And then we got Todd as well as Bianca. Remember, this Samson team came 3rd or 2nd last year. I'm not 100% sure now, but they've been no-repped a few times here. They're not sinking at the top right now, and not finding that chemistry at the moment. And there we go, they get it. They got one more rep left. And then on your screens right now, we got lane number 9. That is Stanton Height Club of Fitness, plot box CrossFit. Two Tanks and Josh, they're heading out to their run now. Matthew Pieterse here, shout out to Team Buns and Guns. Andre Snyman, tell Drickers to keep going from PA. Come on, let's get a few more comments for these guys. They will be able to see this later on. So when they do come back and watch the stream, they can read your comments. So come on, let's get a bit of banter and some gears going on the comments here on YouTube. Probably ate it. And Megan is back here from Two Tanks and Josh. That's CrossFit Kempton, lane number 7. And yeah, again, we're on the run. You can see this run here. Don't worry, we're not going to pull off the games here where we tell you it's 200 meters, but it's only 150 meters. It's actually 200 meters. I did have a little check with my own watch this morning just to see if it is 200. And it's literally 200. So it's actually a little bit more than 200. So when you come in, so you exit the gate, and then when you come in, it's still a little bit of an extra run to your bike. So you're probably looking at about 205 meters, just to get a little bit of an extra burn. We need to ask our one camera lady why she's not doing the run. And back we are here. Great footage here from the cameraman on the floor at the moment. Had a quick little changeover. Remember, these guys are on their feet pretty much the whole entire day, bringing you all this action. So huge shout out to the team on the floor and our producers. Not easy when you have towers going out, power going out, having to swap over to generators. I don't think people really understand how hard it is to actually bring live streaming to your YouTube channels and your TVs. But great, big kudos to them. And then of course we have Josh Kernot as well in that team with Megan. The 5th fittest man in Africa. The dude is an absolute tank. I've also had the pleasure to compete against him as well as train with the man. Loving the new hairstyle as well. Fresh cut for the man. And Bianca on your screen now from Sanson Fitness. Remember, they came 3rd or 2nd last year. Not 100% sure on that. I will double check that information later on. And there's Josh there. Meaning a bit of a tan on those legs, but strong as an ox, that man.
Lane 7 heading out on their 2nd run. Massive shout out to Biogen, Rebel and Steel Monkey for coming on board as our sponsors. Alongside those sponsors, helping out with our t-shirts, Go to go. Anybody looking for Go
And Todd moving to his bar now. As well as Bev. I know Bev has been following that mayhem programming. Froning. I actually had the pleasure of having a little in-house competition with him about 2 weeks ago. Some exciting news there. We will be putting up a little bit of a documentary in the next couple of months or so, following a few athletes. And we got a teaser for you where Bev and I went head to head. Not gonna ruin that for you, but it was good fun competing against Bev. Animal, that man he is actually. And getting some great shots here, our cameraman. You can see Todd and Bev. Looks like they're breaking it up into twos, switching it over. I like that they're swapping over from the dumbbells to the barbell. Just a different stress on the shoulders using the dumbbells versus the barbell. Even though you still a shoulder to overhead, a little bit of a different angle on the shoulders.
Who can hold on to that grip? 8 minutes in.
7 minutes left for these athletes. 7 minutes.
Lane 9 now from their run again. Lane 6 hunting one down. Lane 5 ATG fitness on their way out to complete their second round. Judges, make sure of those tie breaks. Judges, make sure of those tie breaks.
Alright, our beginners. Beginners heat number 1. You guys can start making your way to the warm-up area. That's our beginners. Heat number 1 to the warm-up area.
Fitness Inferno back in lane 1. About to start their final round. Mega Man Josh fighting it out. Lane 8 just moving in front of him. Samson Fitness back in lane 6. About to start their final round.
A couple of these athletes on those final rounds now with 5 minutes 34 left on the clock. And I think this definitely a lot slower than the team in that previous heat.
Sinking beautifully at the top.
That was Chaos Squad across the Kailami, absolutely demolishing that workout. And 5 minutes left here.
5 minutes remaining, 5 minutes.
And yeah, you can see from the stands point of view, the bleachers. If you don't have money and you're watching the box game from the far left corner and you need binoculars, we're giving you that perspective. You're at Squad Games.
They're about to move over to their next scoring opportunity.
But great atmosphere here. If you are not here, you got nothing to do today, head on over to Diggers and come check it out for yourselves in person. These athletes are quite a sight to see. Some extremely fit individuals, and I'm excited for the future that we have for all these athletes as we look to that 2024 season. And there's some news that we might, it's a big maybe, I've read about it a couple of days ago. It's not official just yet, but we might now have 3 athletes going over and not just 1. However, that is determined on where you are in the placements overall. So they're going to start scoring you. They'll have the number 1 athlete, the number 2 athlete on a scoring system in CrossFit. And if you are ranked in the top 100, if we get 3 top 100 athletes, we might get 3 athletes to the games. So very interesting. Still not 100% sure on that just yet. It hasn't been confirmed, but that is rumor. As we watch Bev and Bianca from Sanson Fitness. Not sinking at the moment, getting those no reps, costing them big time.
3 minutes remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Can they push through for a final run? The heat and dry seems to be affecting a lot of the athletes. Make sure after your shoot you're able to go through to the fire, just stand and hydrate yourselves.
Our beginner heat number one. Beginner heat number one. You need to be at the start shoot in the next 5 minutes. Beginner heat number one at the start shoot in the next 5 minutes. There's going to be just a little bit of a brief for you. So beginners heat number one to the start shoot in the next 5 minutes.
And these athletes working nice and hard here on the bike. You can see the cadence there in lane number 9. Picked up nicely there. That is Stanton Heights Club of Fitness, Plot Box CrossFit. They got a lot of representatives here. Nice to see Plot Box with so many teams at Squad Games.
Seconds left for these athletes. 90 seconds.
Marshall, clear those shoot speeds, Marshall.
And these athletes need to try to finish up that third round. They need to try to get that scoring opportunity and not get capped there. It's going to cost them big time, especially in this RX division with such a talented field. You don't want to get capped. You want to make sure you get that scoring opportunity, whether it's just scraping through, but you've got to try and finish it up.
1 minute remaining, athletes. 1 minute. Come on, spectators. Let's get behind it. 1 minute remaining. Focusing Perno in lane 1 needs to sprint out this to make it back on time. Make it worth their while.
See Taden's here in the house, aka Terminator.
30 seconds left, athletes.
30 seconds.
Let's get behind the last 30 seconds. Let's give it a push. Come on.
Come on, 30 seconds. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
And that's a wrap. Yeah, you see those athletes dropping to the floor there. Absolutely brutal workout to open here at Squad Games. But man, I'm excited for this RX division. We got a couple of powerhouses here, so very exciting. However, heat number 2, definitely by far the fastest heat so far. I think we had about 3 or 4 teams that had plenty time to work on that bike, and in this heat we only had a couple of teams just making that, finishing that third round. But don't go anywhere. Workout number 2 is going to be coming up next.
Athletes, you may exit the arena by the gazebo. Just make sure you hydrate.